Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Arch with Imran. I'm Imran, and today we've got a video with the amazing Natalie. Now, this video is going to be on finding your style in architecture and the process of how you do it. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Natalie. I also run my own YouTube channel, Unraveling Architecture. And yeah, I'm super excited for our conversation today.
She's got a really amazing channel. Go check out after this video. I'll put the link in the bio. Now, a question I've had with a lot of people is, and something I'm going through myself, is how you find your style in architecture. I follow loads of awesome pages on Instagram and Pinterest and stuff, and I see all these sick styles, and it's like, how do you go through the process of finding your own communication style?
Yeah, so this is super critical because we are in such a visual field. And I also want to clarify, I'm in grad school, so I've been studying architecture for going on 5 years. And you finding your own visual representation style isn't something that's going to happen overnight. And it takes a lot of experimentation, especially in your foundation undergraduate years. So I would say, one, the process can be super frustrating because it's something that you just want to get right away. But two, it doesn't have to be as frustrating, and you can explore so many visual representation styles and try something new for every studio project. I think that would be my biggest recommendation, just because with every single studio project, and perhaps you have multiple professors too, you could just explore such a wide variety and see what you failed at, which is a good thing, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, and what you thrived in. And then I think just taking, every skill that you picked up over all of these studio projects that you produced over the past couple of years, and then going forward with that.
So, what I wanted to ask was, how has your style changed from starting architecture to now, and what kind of prompted that? Like, what experiments did you do? Like, how has your style changed, and what caused it?
Yeah, so I would say you and I actually have a very similar foundation style. I would say, I wasn't doing any hand sketching. Let me clarify too. I know you did a lot of hand sketching studies yourself with your own forms and architecture projects. I was always doing digital representation from day one, right? But I would say my style evolved from more of a heavy visual weight to a more lighter weight, where I actually like incorporating a lot of white space in all of my drawings. I think you can see that as my renders progressed. I was doing very heavy, darker renders, heavy line weights, and I realized that, for some that works, but for me, I think I just have a lighter aesthetic that I'm more drawn to visually. Some people aren't like that, and we were talking before about scrolling through Pinterest and seeing what visually catches your eye, even when you just search, architectural rendering or architectural stylized drawing. Hundreds of pins are going to come up, and, I think it's going to take a really long time for you to understand, the ins and outs of programs like Photoshop, Illustrator, even Rhino, what you're using to develop these forms. But Photoshop, I think, is going to be your best friend when it comes to experimenting how you represent architecture and your own projects. So definitely, there's no right or wrong answer here, and it's a lot of testing and failing. So yeah, how about you? How did you land on your first architectural style that you're in right now?
So, what I've really enjoyed doing recently, as you guys know from my channel, I absolutely love Photoshop. I've been using it for ages. And something I've been doing recently a lot is just scrolling through Pinterest, finding stuff I enjoy, and just copying the style, using the color picker, copying the colors, the layout, and applying it to my own projects, and seeing what I kind of like. Now, what I found is most people, especially if you've been creative for a while, you kind of understand the kind of stuff you like. So I know I love colorful stuff, and that's simple. So then you can explore that. So as you guys can see from my splatter tutorial, link in the card, I did a really colourful splatter style first year, And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to refine it, and I'm trying to maintain the elements like the splatter stuff that I enjoy, but make it look a lot more professional. Now, the reason I wanted to talk to you was because I think your style as it is now is extremely professional and looks really clean. I wanted to ask, regarding portfolios, have you redesigned any of your old work to match your style? Because I think in a portfolio it's really important for the styles to be cohesive. Have you gone through and redesigned any old stuff? Is that something people can do, or?
Yes. So, okay, I love portfolios. I am so drawn to portfolios because portfolios in a way is a representation of how much you personally have grown as an architect. And absolutely, I would highly recommend going back to older projects that you produced years ago and sprucing up all of the drawings with your new and current evolved style that took you years to develop. So for instance, my gear house, right? I went through actually right before I was applying to graduate school to UPenn. I went through that whole project, remodeled the entire building in Rhino over the summer, redid all of the drawings, all of the, the plans, and this one exploded axonometric I did, and that ended up being one of my most favorite drawings. I know the form itself still is kind of wonky and funky, and today I would never design something like that, but at the time this was definitely a critical step I took in my own architectural development, form, studio skills, whatever you want to label it. And this was just a critical step I had to take to explore what worked for me and what didn't. So absolutely, always go back to your drawings and always be super critical and hard on yourself. And I think as a result, you'll have a beautiful portfolio that really speaks volumes to your skill set.
And
So,
yeah, and also speaking to friends and colleagues and asking them to be harsh, because I think often a lot of friends have really great ideas and views that you may not even consider. So I think, again, be really open to finding your style. I myself am quite guilty for picking a style and sticking to it, but I think it's really important to be open and keep experimenting. And I think over time, the more you do something, you'll just get more and more refined, and you'll develop an eye for what you do and don't like.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of your point, I also think you can even ask your studio professor. And I mean, just keep in mind, your studio professor has probably been in the field either practicing professionally or in the academic world for years, much longer than you even thought about architecture. And they probably have a very firm understanding of portfolios and how it works. So asking them to sit down with you and review your portfolio is another great asset that you can utilize.
Okay, great, thank you. One question I do want to ask you. As you know, my channel looks a lot of softwares because that's my passion. What softwares do you use to go from start to finish? And has that always been the case, or have you changed it to fit your workflow?
So, sorry, just to clarify, are you talking about a studio project or portfolio?
I would say a studio project. So,
Okay.
say you finish your project and you're trying to present. What kind of softwares do you use? Because I know people use Revit, Rhino. What kind of softwares do you use, and what's your kind of workflow when you're presenting your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will model all of my forms in Rhino. I don't touch Revit unless I'm working on a professional project, meaning I'm working on something at a firm. But
Sorry,
Rhino.
why is that?
Okay, so Rhino is better equipped to make very various forms. Revit, the program itself, is intended to aim your building to eventually be constructed. So that means you're going to have a lot of restrictions where you can place geometries, and everything has to be connected and so refined to some degree, right? About how you can make your form. Rhino is more abstract, and I think you can always go through and refine your form with Rhino. With Revit, it's more of a headache when you're trying, especially in that conceptual stage where you're even just figuring out what your massing looks like. Revit is definitely more of a headache, I would say. I know everyone is going to approach projects differently, but that's why I always recommend either like Rhino or Maya, any modeling or sculpting software, Blender even. But typically your school will prescribe what software you should really be focusing your attention on. But I think Rhino is definitely the standard, right? Because you use Rhino, right?
Yeah, so my university included Rhino, and that's why a lot of my initial videos were on Rhino. But I think it is important to experiment with other softwares, and you guys can check out my tutorials. I've got loads more coming. I want to look at stuff like Revit, and I do a lot on InDesign as well. So I want to start looking at other softwares so you guys get an understanding of different ways you can experiment. But I think it's really important to do that yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I would typically, model everything as detailed as I can make it in Rhino, and then, take your section cuts, your plan drawings, clean up your line work in Rhino. I would then export all of the line work to Illustrator and stylize it later in Photoshop by superimposing renderings and other line work and other information, because in a way we are designing 3D buildings, but you have the responsibility of representing it in a unique way but legible way in 2D. So, and I think it's a really challenging task, and it does take a while to develop these really good skills, but you don't want to confuse anyone with your drawings, and it should be clean and it should be legible. There's been drawings that I produced that I look at now and I'm like, wow, I can't even read or understand the interior space and this quality of this building. And I think it does, I mean, to my first point, don't get frustrated with it. It is going to take some time. So do you use Illustrator a lot, or are you still...
I think for me it depends on the project. So my one of my recent videos, I did a floor plan for a nursery I designed, and I did all the line work in Illustrator because it's vector, and the benefit to Illustrator is it can read CAD.wg files. So I got loads of furniture files designed for AutoCAD, and I could just drag and drop them into Illustrator. But yeah, I think it's, especially Adobe, it's a really industry standard package, and it's important to at least understand bits of all of the programs. So the programs are designed really well to work with each other. So for example, if you drag a file from Illustrator into Photoshop, you can literally click on the layer in Photoshop and it'll take you back to Illustrator. I think understanding the relationship between all of that's really important, but definitely work with what you're comfortable with, and I think in your spare time, experiment.
The beautiful thing about Adobe products is that they're all designed by one person. Now, if you're translating stuff from Rhino to Maya, that's a little bit more challenging. Not really, but to your point, right, about Photoshop, you can link things that are an AI file in Photoshop, and it can save you boatloads of time. So I would say if you're struggling with, your time and workflow, that's something I would recommend, is learning how Adobe actually works across a lot of programs. So Photoshop will always work with Illustrator just because they're run by Adobe, and that's a good life hack as a student to know.
Okay, so I think we're getting a little late on time, but I want to ask one more question. You said you prefer your style to be really light and simple. What is it about your current style that you prefer to your old style? Is it just legibility?
Yeah, so it's legibility is definitely a big thing. Just because you are going to be working with contractors, and contractors aren't really going to care if your style is pretty or not. They just want it to be practical. With my style right now, I have a much varied higher contrast between line weights, and I think actually understanding line weights, hatches, and the power that these tools have for architecture students is actually really incredible, and you can tell such a story through your drawings about your own architectural project. So I think stylizing stuff is super fun, and I actually love representations in architecture, and it's almost like you're creating art from your practical drawings. And my advice to anyone trying to find their own style is just have fun with it.
So be open-minded and experiment and have fun. That is a really good point to end on. So thank you for joining this collab. I really enjoyed it. Guys, please go check out Natalie's channel. I'll leave it in the description, as I've said. And she has loads of great videos. Actually, I'll let you say it. What is your content more based on?
Yeah, I would say I have a lot of architecture student advice videos. I'm trying out some tutorial content as well, and architecture history videos. So we're still exploring a lot with my my channel, but it's okay. So thank you. Yeah.